going on, people? Welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. Another quick video for you today on this Saturday evening, because obviously there was some big breaking news earlier on today from Fabrizio Romano on the contract situation of one of Newcastle United's biggest stars, one of the biggest players in the current dressing room. Been up in the air. Obviously, he's had some criticism this season from fans and from pundits, and we've had this lingering over him. I think this whole contract situation, well, apparently it is now resolved according to the main transfer guru, that is Fabrizio Romano, and it is Bruno Guimaraes that we are talking about. Bruno G, 39, has signed a new deal for 5 years at St James's Park. But how many of those 5 years will he actually see out in black and white? That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. We're going to be talking about the fans who have reacted online on Twitter and on our Instagram, and a lot of them very concerned, very worried. And I've been asked about this loads in the DMs today, so I thought I'd jump on, do a quick video, and it is easier this way than spending my whole night doing this. You know what I mean? So, not playing on the PlayStation, replying to messages. But for me, it's very 50-50, this news. On the first hand, at first reading, when Fabrizio tweets this, and we know obviously discussions have been ongoing for a while and the resolution was going to come. It is brilliant news, obviously, that we've tied Bruno Guimaraes down. He has signed on the dotted line. He will be a Newcastle United player for the next 5 years. Or will he? Do you know what I mean? So like I said, when it first came out, I'm like buzzing, get in, yes, thankfully. Now it's over. Hopefully, Bruno can get back to his best. I mean, I thought he was very good against Milan. He had a great international break for Brazil. So hopefully, he's getting over them little niggles he had over the summer, and he can start producing his best form again for the tune. But now that it's out of the way, now it's I'm sure a monkey lifted off his back. You know, the cloud is over. You know, the sun is shining. He should be laughing now. He's getting close to £200,000 a week on his new deal. Now you'd hope he can kick on, concentrate on the football, and focus on producing some results, some key performances to get Newcastle back up that Premier League. So when you first see the news, I'm thinking, fantastic. Glad that's done. Move on. Brilliant. Good job that we've got him now. Hopefully he stays here for years. Mint that he wants to sign. Fabrizio said at the end of the tweet that it was very easy for Bruno. You know, he loves the club and really wants to stay. Bruno's obviously mentioned the fact that his son's now with Jordi Matteo. And, you know, they're very happy here, they love it here, they feel loved here. So, to see him sign, marvellous. Happy days. However, the second part of the tweet, where they talk about the release clause, has got me and many other Toon fans questioning it. And if he is so happy to sign, why do you need a release clause in there? You know what I mean? That's a sticking point for me. That's doesn't sit well with me, the release clause. And especially how low that release clause is. That's what everybody is saying online. You know, the release clause is apparently £100 million. £100 million is what Romano is saying the release clause is for Bruno Guimaraes. Now that is a joke in itself. We paid, what, £35-40 million for Bruno from Lyon a couple of years ago. Now he's a regular for Brazil. Now you've seen how good he is in the Premier League. Now he's playing in the Champions League. How on earth is the release clause only 100 mil? I say only 100 mil because in today's footballing market, that's not much, is it? Caicedo, who had one good season in the Premier League, which Bruno has had, and more, went for 115 million. Don't get it. I don't get how he can have one good season. Bruno's better. Bruno might be slightly older. Caicedo's playing that position where it's harder to find certain individuals who can master it, even though he's absolutely flopping at the minute. But everyone at Chelsea is. But yeah, Caicedo for 115, major. You know what I mean? Major. Bruno for 100, it feels very short for me. I think that release clause should be 120 million, at least. I think it really should be 120 million. Now, you've got other journalists coming out saying, oh, it's an excess of 100 million. So, yeah, what is it? Probably 105 then, maybe 110 at a push. Even then, still a steal for me, for anybody that wants him. And the worrying thing is, anybody can come in now. January could come round. Real Madrid could have a couple of injuries. Liverpool still want to strengthen their midfield. Man City are trying to sign Paqueta from West Ham. They may think, you know what? West Ham want 80 million for Paqueta. Get Bruno instead. You know what I mean? So Bruno for 100 million. We could lose Bruno this January. We could lose Bruno this season. If not this season, very likely to lose him next summer. And that's what a lot of fans are worried about. A lot of fans are saying, you know, why is this release clause in here? Obviously, Bruno wants to leave. He must want another team. He must be setting his sights on somewhere else. Newcastle want to cash in. And honestly, I think there's truth in all of that. I really do. And some fans aren't going to like it. And Some fans clearly don't like it. That's where these comments have came from. But for me, Bruno will not be at Newcastle for the remainder of this contract. No way will he be here in 2028, 2027, even 2026. I think you'll have 1-2 seasons out of him max. And that's why this release clause is in here. Bruno has not hid the fact that he wants to play for Real Madrid. I've seen an interview, I can't remember it now, you Google it, I'm sure you'll find it. But he said back in the day his dream was to play for Real Madrid, which loads of players obviously do because they think, that's the biggest club, the most successful club in the world ever, and fair enough. Madrid, live there, play Real Madrid, play with the best players in the world, play in a massive stadium. Congrats, I can see why it's appealing and why lots of players say it. But I think he's destined for that. I think Bruno's the type of player that does want to play in La Liga. He does want to play in Spain. He wants to definitely be playing the Champions League every year. He said he's built for it. He's made for it. It's what he wants. He's got it now at Newcastle. Will he have it next season? It's going to be hard. Might do though. But he wants to win the Champions League. He wants to win the World Cup of Brazil. He wants to be the best, and I appreciate that, and I respect that ambition from him. But I think he's going to go. I think he'll definitely leave in the next year or two, whether it be to a Real Madrid, a PSG, one of these huge names that are already there where Newcastle want to get to, but we're currently still down here. It takes time. And on the other hand, I think Newcastle United and the people behind the scenes and the owners will look and think, if we can get 100 million plus for Bruno Guimaraes, for one player, due to financial fair play, that would allow us to make 3-4 world-class signings. That would allow us to really invest that back in. Because remember, FFP isn't just, you make 100 million flat, there you go, that's what you can spend. It goes up on that. So we could really make a few top-class signings with that Bruno money. So you wouldn't just be replacing Bruno, you'd be getting 1 or 2 more, easy, of that calibre, you'd hope. So that's where I sit on it, where I'm thinking I could see Bruno wanting to leave in a year or two's time. I could see the Newcastle, not happily, but in a way, business-wise, wanting to cash in on Bruno and really help with FFP. And then I could see us invest in it. And that's the main thing. And that's the thing that doesn't worry me overall. Yes, love Bruno. My favourite Newcastle player for years. Absolutely adore him. Think he's a star. He's done amazing things for us. He's connection to the fan base as well. But this is football. Players come and go. We have to accept that. The club are going to accept that. The owners will accept that. And I think it'll just be a matter of time. Unfortunately, it's very hard to get your Shearers now where they stay loyal to a club for years. Even Harry Kane's end up leaving Spurs. You can't blame them because obviously they're not going to reach the big heights of winning a trophy. Hopefully Newcastle will. And listen, Bruno might look back at it and think, I should have just stayed there. We're on the right track, we're on the journey, we made it, they're going to be winning trophies. And you hope, obviously, we will be winning trophies in a few years' time at least. But Newcastle can cash in on him. Makes sense from that point of view. Bruno will want to test himself overseas and try and guarantee success. You can understand that. And like I said, the comforting thing for me is that it's not Mike Ashley days, where if Mike Ashley was here and we somehow managed to have a Bruno in the team and he sold him, we would never, ever see that invested. Whereas with these owners, we will. Straight away they'll invest it. Straight away we'll go back into replacing Bruno and 1 or 2 more. So that's the reassuring thing. But then again, how hard is it to find a Bruno now? Do you know what I mean? You see, I see these Caicedos going for big fees. Players that aren't really that proven and aren't really world class. And they're going for massive amounts of money. Bruno, he's a top talent, one of the best in his position, one of the best in the Premier League. So it's not like you say, we'll get that 100 million, but then, we'll buy someone else. But how close can you come to replacing Bruno? Because you look around for me, who would you buy now if you had 100 million to replace him, So it's definitely not going to be easy, but I just think it's one of those things where it can't be helped. I just think it's football and it can't be helped and it will happen. And honestly, don't be surprised if we sell Bruno next year. Do not be surprised if he leaves next summer. He won't leave in January, I don't think. And he might not leave next summer. But there's no way he stays for this duration of his contract. If in 5 years' time he's still a Newcastle player, I'd be very, very surprised. Just because you look at that release clause and it's there for a reason. The thing is, you see people saying, Barcelona, they put release clauses in of like 1 billion and stuff and crazy money for players because they don't want to sell him and they don't want to leave. Whereas Bruno, we've got that in there and it's a very reasonable amount and there will be teams that are willing to pay that for Guimaraes. So I can see fans' frustrations, concerns, but for now I would just say enjoy the ride. Just enjoy Bruno being here, see what happens and trust the owners and the new system and everything else behind the scenes that we would make the right call and reinvest it and Bruno would only go if he wanted to go. We wouldn't accept an offer if Bruno wanted to stay, I don't think. So we'll wait and see how it pans out. There's loads of ways you can look at this. Positively, negatively, on the fence a bit like me. I am really mixed on it. For one, I'm happy. I want to see Bruno here for years. And on the other hand, I'm all right in accepting that it's football, players come and go, and we will reinvest it. So, I don't know. In an ideal world, you know, wouldn't have FFP and we could keep Bruno for 10 years. That would be the ideal situation, but that's not the case, unfortunately. And we are going to have to make big sales. Every team does. Every team makes big sales. So, we'll have to live with it. It's modern football. We'll see how we get on. We'll see just how long Bruno Guimaraes will stay as a Newcastle United player. The club haven't officially announced this yet. Fabrizio Romano said it. It'll probably come out in the next few days. I would say it was legit. You know, Bruno's been talking about the new contract. We know it's been ongoing. So hopefully all will be officially announced soon. Hopefully. Fab got it wrong with the release clause and it's at least 125-50 million. That'd be great. Cheers anyways for watching, everyone. Make sure you stay subscribed to my channel TVs. I'm going to Sheffield United tomorrow. There'll be loads of content coming your way for that away trip. Give this one a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Drop your comments below what you think of it. And I'll see you on the next one.